WoW at Timeskip. Here we go. All right.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Warcraft News. And well, you're in for it today. We have a mountain of stuff, and what might surprise you after yesterday's video is, you know what? Most of it is actually good. We've got character customization stuff that's really exciting. We've got the dev.
That's good.
Dev's talking about Arthas.
Yeah, it's really
We've got
good.
another massive lore drop for me and Hazakostas that kind of suggests a time skip and a whole bunch more. So we've got so much to dive into. First though, something special, something new. This is key art from a game concept that we have worked on very recently. As for what that game is and could be, well, I'm just going to say, you take a look closely and let me know what you think.
Yep.
Now, this
Mods
is
are gods, by the way.
Super early stage that you can own. You can own that part of the game dev process because this print is actually on this month's Patreon loot tier, and that is on top of the Paladin class pin, which, I mean, here is an example of, you know, the Shaman one. These are seriously epic.
McConnell, are you going to get the Paladin class pin from Bellular?
If he sends it to me, sure.
All right, there you go.
And then, of course, the Tiefling. Oh, if I can hold it correctly without breaking my arm, the Tiefling art pack. And by the way, like,
those actually do look pretty nice.
Boost for the game team having their stuff get
they
out there.
look good.
Really has been great. And if that game concept does get made, it will be after Pale Beyond, which is our pretty hardcore Antarctic narrative adventure. More on that soon. But with that said, thank you, patrons, and let's go. So we've got something very, very cool indeed from the alpha. Something I actually didn't really think we would see in World of Warcraft that much, and that is facial structure options. Right now it's not a lot, and this is in addition to the ethnicity options that Blizzard are going to be adding in for the humans. So males can be oval, boxy, or diamond in terms of face shape, and females can be triangle, round, or heart. Now, I'm pretty sure...
I think that's good. Like, as I said, I think this is great. I'm very happy about this. Yeah, all the changes and all that stuff is great.
That, yeah, everyone's still busy fapping off to that new Geralt of Rivia styled hair for the human males.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
But, I mean, hey, look, this is great character customization. And, you know, the character customization, it's kind of sucked in WoW as compared to old games, mainly just because WoW is, you know,
it's an old game. Yeah, that's really why.
That, though. And here, you know, we've got them, instead of putting resources into new allied races that would probably shift more copies of the game, shift more subs, things like that. No, they're putting work into the stuff that existing players have right now and care about. That's really good. Now,
yeah, it's like they have so many allied races now. I feel like, are there too many, you guys think? I think there's too many allied races right now for how quickly they've been adding them. Like, I'd like to see them focus more on, like, making the current races look better. Like, character customization is super important.
Temper expectations here. This is still all like authored bespoke content. What do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is it's not like you are, you know, using a slider to control like the size of a few blend shapes. This is not a granular slider. So it does seem like Blizzard, you know, they still have to ship these as like unique options. Now that's understandable because all their systems and their pipelines, they will have been designed for, you know, how WoW has worked through the past. Plus, I would also wonder, you know, how well would World of Warcraft's exaggerated art style work if we got those sort of Black Desert Online sliders? How would that work with how WoW does
that'd be kind of weird.
Now,
I don't think that would work at all.
By the way, the actual face style, like the actual face options.
I don't know why they don't make the boobs bigger too, right? Like, is there any real reason that we don't have a boob slider?
How big do you want the boobs to be? Like, you've been talking about the boob slider for fucking over a year now. Like, exactly how big do you want these tits?
All right, I've thought about that a lot. And so have you seen Alex Straza?
Yes.
Okay, so that would be like towards the larger size, you know? But like at least that. Can you agree with that? I mean, what about that?
You're out of your mind.
Well, how am I out of my mind?
Blizzard is never going to make the... They're never going to make the tits that big, ever.
Why not? Is there any real reason for it not to be that?
It's body shaming.
How's it body shaming?
Because if your options are to have big tits or no tits, you have to choose the big tits at all times, right?
If you're a dude, yeah. But like, I'm pretty sure there's plenty of girls that aren't going to pick that. There's plenty of girls that will, yeah. But like, yeah, there'll be dudes like, yeah, I'm going to give her the biggest fucking titties possible. Like, obviously, like, fucking duh. But I'm talking about, like, just in general, like, at least having the option to do that is better than not having the option. Come on, man.
You're obsessed with tits.
No, it's just I read it off of chat. It wasn't even my
How about
idea.
an ass? Okay, would you be okay with an ass slider or a dick slider?
Yeah.
Oh.
That'd be great.
Right. Okay.
Hell yeah, dude.
Like how the face looks, that is still something you can customize in addition to this. And past that, there's been a bunch in the way of customization options past this, like feathers for your hair if you're a dwarf. And if you'd like to play with some of those, well, WoW have actually updated their dressing room tool, so that's actually pretty cool. And their devs, as always, have done pretty darn incredible work. Okay, next, let's get into it. Let's get into this incredibly exciting lore.
Okay, here we go.
We've got lore from Ian that suggests that something very big might happen at the end of the Shadowlands expansion. And, I mean, man, Ian really does like doing this to us, doesn't he? Last week, we got another big lore hint from him, and yeah, this week we've got another. So, Ian responded to a question from WoW Chakra about how time passed in the Shadowlands.
Yeah.
Right, well... That's because
Very good
of
question.
Your man, the Huntsman, right? The Death Knight Huntsman who gets the horses from Legion. Now, he met the DK in Legion for the first time since he met the DK in the DK starting zone years ago for us, but he commented that for him, it had only really been like a few days from his perspective in the Shadowlands. And that's all because, basically, of how time works in the Shadowlands. So,
What
Chakra
the fuck?
asked Ian what was up with all that, and Ian said that, well, you know, it's not like a hard rule, like, you know, time is 10 times faster in the Shadowlands. Ian
Makes
basically
sense.
said it's all just chaotic, right? Now, here's the key. Ian said we would find out the answer to that question about how fast time passed once we leave the Shadowlands, what we return to. So, yeah, that's actually pretty big. That...
Okay. Do you guys think they should do another Cataclysm? Like, let me just ask you that. Do you guys think they should do another Cataclysm of the world? So, here's the one thing that I would be okay with if they did this, because I don't think they should do another Cataclysm just to revamp all the leveling zones. I think they should only do a world revamp if that means the entire world is relevant for high-end players. And I think that it should be relevant in a different way than it is for low-level players. I actually don't like scaling in MMOs, so I wouldn't like to see, for example, a level 15 be able to complete a world quest with a level 60. I think that would be silly. But if you had specific level 60 phased content in certain areas like Arathi Highlands and stuff like that, I would really enjoy that a lot. And I think that could actually make the World of Warcraft seem more like a world and less like the continent of the expansion, which is something that they've had a big problem with many times. Please no phasing. Well, how do you do... Well, then what would there be like? Would there be like high... that's actually a good way to look at it. So, like, imagine... You guys remember back in, like, fucking vanilla, right? Oh, a lot of you guys probably played back then. There would be, like, certain zones in, like, each area. Like, Stranglethorn Vale. You had Zul'Gurub in Stranglethorn Vale. And all the level 30s knew, don't fucking go over there by those trolls or they'll fucking kill you. So imagine if they had that and just low-level players weren't able to go over there, or they'd just die. That would actually be way cooler. Now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, that would be way fucking cooler. Because that way you'd actually have, like, those high-end zones. I think it's really important to, like, create... It creates a sense of perspective in the game whenever you're seeing things that are much harder than what you can kill. So it's like, okay, I can work my way up to being here, or I can work my way up to doing this or doing that or whatever. Like, I remember whenever I got to, like, me and Zach, I told the story, I don't know, I probably haven't told the story for a long time, but, like, Zach and I, we did all the quests in fucking Elwyn Forest. We did all the quests in Westfall, and we basically ran the game. We were the big dicks of the game. I mean, we were level 24, right? We knew what the fuck was up. We killed Edmund Van Cleef. It's easy, right? And then we went off the coast of Westfall, and we swam over to the Zul'Gurub Isle, right? The Yoshamba, whatever the fuck it is, Isle. And we saw these level 63 trolls. and we realized that like we had just discovered like this little tiny fucking part of the game, and the game was actually this fucking massive, and we had no idea about it. And just being able to have that perspective put to you as a player, and to understand like how much bigger the world is than just yourself, and how much more that there is for you to accomplish and do, is something really important for an MMO. And so I would only be okay if they did a time skip, if they actually made it an in-game relevant time skip.
That means that lore-wise, we're kind of following Warlords of Draenor rules here, okay? Now, what that means is that, you know, in Warlords, we went through the portal, we did the expansion, and then we returned to Azeroth.
And nothing
now, sure,
changed.
in-game, it wasn't like that. You could teleport all over the place. But lore-wise, canonically, like when you went through that dark portal, that was a big sort of point of no return. So Ian basically saying here, you know, that we'll find out how the time works once we actually leave the Shadowlands at the end of the expansion. That's big, because let's think about the state of the world right now. Undercity is a mess. The Forsaken, where do they live? You know, it's just trashed. Teldrassil, it's kind of gone. The Worgans are refugees. The Night Elves are also refugees. And then, you know, the Forsaken, they've got this crazy political situation going on. And then
it's actually a really good point. I mean, you've got the Gilneans, like the Worgen, they don't have anywhere to go. Like, I mean, there's 3 races in the game that don't even have a capital city anymore. Holy shit. And then you also have all the allied races on top of that are just kind of like, you know, they're just kind of like there.
We've got all the crazy lore that we covered in our last lore video about the Scarlet Brotherhood. Seriously, if you've not watched that one, because you maybe didn't think it was relevant, it is a super cool video.
I want to watch that.
I recommend you
probably
check
not
it out.
Watch it today,
so
but I will watch
there's
that.
all that going on. And I think Ian saying this,
it's one of my favorite parts
it makes
of WoW.
me think, is Shadowlands going to have a time skip when we come out? Okay.
Yeah.
So Ian mentioned that in this interview as well, that we may encounter some of those who, you know, fell in BFA, and he mentioned Taronda's Ardenweald arc. But the thing that was really spicy to me is that Ian talked about how reforming the Night Elf Society and the Forsaken, that stuff doesn't really fit in the Shadowlands narrative, and I think that's definitely true. But he said it's really important, and he said that it's something that they are working out how to do.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
So let's actually do some synthesis, put these things together. So, you know, I'm thinking to myself, right, we've got Azeroth, that's a bit of a mess. We then have a game director teasing about just how much time will pass when we come out of the Shadowlands.
Yeah.
Are we going to do a time skip? Are we going to, you know, go from strange baby Anduin to gruff hot Anduin? Is that what that's going to be? You know, maybe we're going to return to find that characters like Talia have, you know, grown in station, are more important. Then the Night Elves have got a new home. That, you know, all these political leaders were still left when we went to the Shadowlands. There's big potential there, right? With all the characters left behind, that we could see them advance and actually see the world sort of move. Now, look,
would you guys want to see a time skip from a lore perspective? Like, not like from a gameplay perspective, but from a lore perspective. Yeah, I think I kind of would too. And like I'd say like 20 years, 20 or 30 years would be probably the that would be the number that I'd go after.
Get it, right? Time skips can be good, they can also be quite bad. Yeah. But I will say this, WoW is an MMO, and it's an MMO where people care, I think, mostly about the state of the world. So, you know, this as an opportunity to update the state of the world, that would be really interesting, right? Blizzard could actually set up the next crop of stories that they wish to tell. One of the reasons why loads of people have said that Warcraft 4 would be a cool thing is that you could end a WoW expansion, then have Warcraft 4 happen, and then Warcraft 4 would kind of kick off a next era of World of Warcraft. Well, with this,
it would move the story forward,
going to happen, much to my sadness. But with this, you could have Shadowlands, you could have a time skip, you know, maybe 4 or 5 years passes, we return, and Azeroth's different, people are in different places, interesting things have happened, and there are new stories to tell, new adventures to go on. That could be really good, or
that would be a good idea.
We could just come back and Yrel could, you know, just have taken the whole place over and kick our ass. Who the hell
that'd
knows,
be dumb.
but I think it's pretty darn fun lore. That's not it for the lore, though, because we've also got some hints of Arthas. So Ian hinted that in the Shadowlands, there is an Arthas, right? That is where he would go. But Ian said that, like, the team, they want to be very careful not to tread on some of WoW's, you know, most well-liked and, I guess, renowned lore. Now,
I don't think that, I don't want to see Arthas come back. I think that's going to be stupid. Like, but maybe they'll be able to do it right. I highly doubt it. But yeah, I mean, I think a time skip would actually like reinvigorate a lot of people's interest in the game, and Blizzard's like their main concern with that really is that if they do a time skip like that, what could happen is it could alienate some people who like the world originally how it was. So it's like as long as they have a way for players to see the world how it originally was or how it was before Shadowlands, I think everything would be fine. Like, yeah, play Classic then? Yeah, well, like, people probably like parts in between, right? I mean, I would be okay with them just doing a Chromie and like you just talk to Chromie and it just takes you to the old world. I don't really think that's a problem. But other than that, I also worry that Blizzard will actually listen to that, because I don't think that Blizzard should handicap themselves based off of like players that want the game to always stay the same. They should try to move things forward and actually try to like advance and be more dynamic with the game, just in general, in terms of like taking risks and doing things that they haven't normally done before.
Now, while we're not going to be running around with Arthas, Ian did say that we are going to learn more about him. Now, this is fun for me because I suspect it will be in a few different ways. Number one, via, Arthas as the man, via his old mentor, Uther, to find out who he is. Because that's a perspective we've not gotten since Uther was, killed. We may even see some of his father there. That would make sense. So there's Arthas the guy, but then there's also Arthas the Lich King. Now, the Rune Forger, who actually made the Lich King's armor, is going to be our ally. Now, the melding with Ner'zhul within that armor, that changed Arthas. So perhaps that Rune Forger will be able to explain how that armor works, how the Helm works, how Frostmourne works. I mean, like, given the implications of the link between the Dreadlords and the Lich King and the Shadowlands, because of course the Dreadlords actually stole the Lich King's armor from the Rune Forger guy. There's just a lot of potential lore there.
I didn't even know they stole it.
I mean, they could really add a lot of texture, a lot of color to things that we don't really know. Of course, the hope is they do that in a way that is satisfying and interesting, because as I think we all know in stories, there are some mysteries that are just best left unexplained. But still, there is a bit of me that's like, you know what, Arthas is really cool. I really love, like, those quests that were dealing with, Arthas's sort of past and who he was, right? Like, you're going around with that, like, little kid version of him that was, like, his name spelled backwards in the Northrend questing. That stuff is really cool. So if we can get a few hints of that, a few of those vibes, but not in a heavy-handed way, I think it would be really fun. Then next up, a few things that all come together. So we're about...
I think, honestly, if they did something really kind of small with Arthas, that would be okay, but... I'm very paranoid about it not being good. Okay, like I'm just paranoid about it not being good. Creating new story is important at this point. Well, I think so it is. I mean, like, the problem is that I think a lot of people are kind of just like bored with like the state of the game in general. And Blizzard needs something to kind of turn the board over and like get people back like engaged in the game, like actually engaged in the game, rather than just like, oh, it's a new expansion, but excited about it on like a visceral level, like people used to be with like BC or Wrath.
To lose the rep buff, and that does mean that like right now this weekend it's your last chance to, for example, get some reps to get those allied races. Now, that only really matters, actually, if you want the allied races now and you want to level them, because Shadowlands is actually going to be dropping the rep requirement from the allied races, so it'll just be the rest of the achievement. But anyway, right, what is interesting here is that if we go back to that WoW Chakra interview, Ian said that there will be something to replace the rep buff, right? Something new. Now, he did not say exactly what it was, but he did mention the legendary cloak, and he also mentioned getting corruptions. So,
and we got that news today.
Really funny, okay? At the end of the Legion expansion, what happened to us? Well, we got the legendary catch-up system in the form of the Waking Essences. And seriously, I was there at the end of Legion, ripping my hair out, being like, guys, this would have been great at day one of Legion.
Yeah, good thinking, Bellular.
Right? What happens if Blizzard do a corruption, like a corrupted gear catch-up system? What it would look like? And actually, if that would just be actually better than the system they shipped with 8.3. Should be kind of funny. And then also the legendary cloak progression was also mentioned, which certainly would be a good thing. Now, I would add here that maybe corrupted mementos might be a good one to do a boost for. The reason I say that's because the Titan research tree, that thing takes weeks to go through at a normal pace, and it's not that interesting gameplay, right? When you're just kind of, when you've already went through that once in one character. So maybe it would be better for Blaze to just let people...
I think that's a big problem like Blizzard has in general, is that like with these in-game systems, I think that you should only have to do it on one character. And like the progression systems, you should only have to do it on one character. I don't think anybody levels up at all to level up their legendary cloak again. And it's like if you've already done on one character, you've clearly earned that power before on your account. So I think they need to do more things to make it easier for people to actually get into doing the content that they leveled their alt to play. So for example, if you, like, let's say you really like Mythic Plus and you want to level a Prot Warrior for Mythic Plus, or like a Vengeance Demon Hunter, so you can just like stack fucking like 1 million crit fucking Twilight Devastations or something like that, then I think Blizzard should know that, and then they should make it to where the path to that is as painless as possible. Because nobody levels up a new alt to do daily quests. Nobody levels up a new alt to do assaults and Oldham, except for me, because I wanted to get the toys on more characters, right? But like, I have problems, and there's something wrong with me, and so Blizzard shouldn't make decisions based off of that. For other normal people, they level up alts because they want to raid, or they want to do Mythic Plus, or do PvP. And so to basically have as few barriers to entry for players who want to play alts as possible. I think that should be the goal.
Race through that tree so they can get their alts up to speed so they can do those harder visions. So that could be worth thinking about. I'd also say it might just be worth Blizz biting the bullet on how boring the world's content of 8.3 is, and maybe just giving people a way faster way to get access to visions without doing as much of that world content.
I don't know how boring it really is.
You know, something that would be a bullet to bite, but maybe a pragmatic thing. Anyway, it is good to see that they're trying to keep the modern game engaging, and it really does echo what they did at the end of Mists of Pandaria with all of those boosts. You know what? Those boosts actually did seem to work out pretty decently. The next up is some legendary stuff to talk about via Ian, and a bit from Paul Cubitt as well. So the legendary stuff seems good. First, professions actually seem to be involved in making the base items for legendaries. Now,
I need to take a piss. Everything they're talking about with what do you call it? With professions in Shadowlands is perfect. I love it. All right. Okay.
Those items are then empowered via the legendary materials that we find in Torghast, and that is done by the Rune Forger. So no, you don't need to have, say, blacksmithing if you want to make a plate bit of legendary gear. That's not the case, but you will need a blacksmith to give you, the base item. Now, I actually think that's good. I think it makes professions important. It keeps them relevant.
Makes them interesting.
And it actually means that you'll either have to rely on the market, on yourself, or on your friends. This is an MMO, and I think that stuff like that is super healthy. So that is really strong. Now, as for those legendary items, well, they're going to be on alpha in a few weeks, and Blizzard's plan is to open up the legendary system very early in the expansion, and that it will be accessible in the Torghast lobby. That's where the Rune Forge.
Do you guys think the legendaries in Shadowlands are going to be good? Like, I think that they are. What about you, McCall? You think they're going to be good?
What is it?
Legendaries in Shadowlands.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
Why do you think that?
Thunder Fury worked. Hand of Rag worked.
It's not working for me.
Glaives worked. Okay. Do you understand what I'm trying to get at here?
Raids? I mean, like, no. What are you trying to get at specifically?
I'm saying, if everybody gets a legendary, then legendaries aren't legendaries.
Do you think they need to have like another level of rarity for like mythic only legendaries or something like that, like artifacts?
No.
Why not?
I'm saying go back to the old style of getting legendaries. Like one class or one whatever, they get it, and then that's their special boys for that expansion, and fuck everybody else.
I would be okay with that to an extent, but I do think that they need to have, like, if you can craft a couple of like really cool items, whether they're legendary or not is like kind of irrelevant to me. But I do think they need to have items like Thunder Fury or items like Glaives more, because Glaives came from the end of the expansion. So like if you had Warglaives, you beat the game anyway. So it's like this is just your victory lap, and I'd love that. That'd be awesome. But it's really hard to make those now. Participation trumpies, yeah, basically. Do it like in Cataclysm. Rich says, did McCool like Valinir or Shadowmourne?
Yeah, they were badass. Let me be clear.
Okay.
I know that it's not a good decision. I just think they were cooler. Like, I cared more about legendaries when they were like individual for classes.
I feel
but I understand it's bad.
Yeah, like I just feel like we had like such a perspective on that whenever we were younger because we didn't realize how easy it was actually to get them. And now, like in Classic, if I ever see somebody with Thunder Fury, I'm just like, the only thing I do is get mad that I don't have it. Like, I don't ever like inspect them or awe it, like, oh wow, that's so cool. Like, I don't know. To me, I don't think they carry the same weight nowadays as they did then. And like maybe that's just because the game is like old, and if they did new things like that now, we'd still feel that way. But whenever I see it, I don't know. But like if you see Champion of Azeroth, I mean like I get a lot of pogs in chat from people whenever I see Champion of Azeroth now, and that's
Azeroth's champion.
Say what?
Azeroth's champion.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. That's it. Yeah, Azeroth's champion. Yeah, a lot of people get really excited whenever they see that. So, I guess it's not completely dead, but I do think they need to have something that's like that, though.
I mean, what would they add, though? You said something above legendary, right? Which would be artifact.
Yeah.
Didn't they have a red color?
Yeah, they did.
At one time? They could just make it red.
It'd be hard to read, but yeah, I'd be okay with that. Maybe it wouldn't be, actually. Yeah, it could be okay. Yeah, red or relic or something like that. Red was GM only. Yeah, red was GM only. Primal items. I don't know. Like, I'd just like to see something.
Please no, dude. Please no primal. Oh God, dude. No thanks, man. No fucking thanks.
All right, let me finish the video here.
Will be. And the way that works is you'll turn in the scraps that you collect, you'll turn those into legendary effects that you then imbue into the base legendary gear items that you get from the crafters. Now, Blizz have said that this stuff, like, it will be an important expansion-wide system, and that they are going to make as much of, like, the unlocking and the recipes account-wide. Yes, they're still learning. It's great. Especially since even like if you've got some catching up to do, well, because you're able to target specific legendary effects in this system, sure, you're not going to be able to get a super wide library of legendary effects fast, but you will be able to target the 1, 2, or 3 that you really need. And of course, you can only equip one at a time, so that will work with balance. Very different from the RNG of Legion, and I just love it. Now, Ian also said they likely will do a catch-up at some point, but, you know, who knows when. Overall, though, look, to me, this seems like a system that is poised to deliver the positive gameplay of Legion legendaries, but without the annoying acquisition of those Legion legendaries. To me, that is super exciting. So, you know, hearing Ian and Paul just say these good things in these Q&As, to me, definitely, it's giving me good vibes. Next up, though, and before we burn through the rest of the interview content, I just have a little bit on the GCD.
Okay, so here we go.
Blizz are adding an AoE damage component to Blade Flurry. Now, that, I mean, where, you know, you use it and it does damage. Now, that matters because they're doing this in lieu of taking it off the global cooldown. This is a positive change. It is not actually what I would have wanted, right? I actually would have liked the gameplay feel of, like, just popping a buff, you know.
That's actually really smart. So they make it kind of work like, for example, Siegebreaker. So Siegebreaker, like, does damage, but you mainly use it as a cooldown. And so they're making the cooldowns themselves do damage so players feel better about hitting the button. I'm willing to try that out and see what happens. Yeah, I'm willing to try that out and see what happens. Now, just take it off. It's not that simple, man. Like, you don't understand. Like, there's a force multiplier with cooldowns, and being able to stack cooldowns means that Blizzard has to balance the game to make it to where your normal damage outside of cooldowns is dog shit. So you either have a cooldown-centric game where you're able to stack them, or you have shit like this. There's no way that you can just do both of them.
Oh, instantly, and not just working. But yeah, that's not going to be a thing. But I think this one does work, and it does solve part of that problem where you use a buff, nothing happens, and, you know, it just doesn't feel that good. Really, the time when the GCD change is problematic is when you got multiple buffs. So take Sweeping Strikes as an example. I mean, if Sweeping Strikes started with a really big cleave, then I would know, okay, I use Sweeping Strikes after I pop Avatar. That's what will open my Avatar cooldown window.
That'd be fucking awesome.
Be a strong AoE attack.
So
that would actually work quite well and be fun in gameplay. That's not a change they've made, but if they did that to Sweeping Strikes, maybe it would make Sweeping Strikes not feel like one of the least satisfying abilities to use in the game, purely because, you know,
I completely agree.
Like, pop 2 offensive buffs, you've used 2 GCDs, then you want to do some cleave damage, then you got to pop another GCD. It doesn't really feel that good. So that is what's up there. I think this is a developing story, and of course, I'll keep you up to date with it. The next up, I just wanted to mention Torghast because it was covered in a lot of the news.
Okay,
but
yeah,
just
this
know,
is the
we
timer
broke that
thing.
out into a separate video that went up yesterday. Now, on that, clearly a lot of people did not watch that video before they got salty and commented, which was fun, a little bit disappointing, but that's just comes to the territory. But yeah, you know, if you want Torghast, go to that video. That's where we've covered it. Now, Paul actually did recently say a few things, though. He said the idea of Torghast is that the legendary rewards will be capped per week, and they're given to you at the end of a run. Now,
That's good. Because if they don't cap them, people will just do it all the time, and that's going to be it. Like, I would vastly prefer that. Like, I don't know, what do you guys think? Would you guys rather have the cap or not? I'm actually kind of curious. Yeah, I'd prefer to have the cap, honestly, because if you don't have the cap, it's the same as like Valor Points. Like, Valor Points had a cap and it was fine. So you just have to meet your cap, and then you can do whatever the fuck you want after that. Seems way better.
That cap is actually going to mean the players who just want to go really deep into Torghast and do that content a lot.
So I don't want me to pause again. I hope one thing they do is they make the cap carry forward. So let's say you can only get 1,000 resources a week. If you go 1 week without doing it, you can get 2,000 the next week. That way people don't feel like they have to log on to do it and they're like punished for not doing it 1 week or forgetting about it. They need to do that.
Like a lot, they can just keep on doing that. But if you're somebody who just wants to get what you need for the legendaries and then leave and not do that system, then that's okay as well. And actually, I think that's really good. I totally agree with the team in this one, so that was really nice to see. So with that done, I'm going to head into some just quick fire for the interview stuff, just to get all the info out to you. So, class sets, they are a thing in Shadowlands after the initial ones, which are not class sets, as we've known, but Blizz right now are not particularly sure what to do with the set bonuses. I think that's fair, right? We are getting a lot of power in this expansion, but of course, Legion had all that power, and it also had the class set bonuses, so I think it should still work. Then we've also got the mission table, and this is actually...
Do you guys think that, like, I want class sets back? I don't really know why anybody wouldn't want class sets back, besides, like, you know, maybe they just didn't like them for whatever reason. I don't know. What, McCollum, do you want class sets back?
Fuck yes, dude.
Okay.
Come on. And I would love to have the color variants to the mob class sets, too.
Oh,
like
the old ones?
Yeah, like Paladin had a red variant
of
their armor. It was like super dope. I'd love to see that.
Do you think if they added that, wouldn't that like devalue the accomplishments that people made in Mr. Pandaria though? Or do you think it just like doesn't matter?
I don't give a fuck. If you have the blue one, then you have the prestige. If you have the red one, then you look cool. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I think that's a little bit more nuanced than that. I don't know if that's the right decision. But maybe. Yeah, maybe. Do you agree with like my idea that, like, let's say they have 8 pieces in the set, but the set bonus only goes up to 4, so you can mix and match?
I would have to think about that, but since I normally agree with your opinion, I'm just going to say yes.
All right, that's a good idea.
Interesting. So ages ago, MMO Champs data mining suggested it being some sort of auto battler, but we didn't really see much more about that. Now, what Ian did say is that the mission table of Shadowlands is going to focus more on representing what World of Warcraft combat is, you know, actually kind of feels like, and that it's going to have more depth. Now, we don't know much else past that, but that could totally mesh with that data mining. And really, for me, here's the deal, right? Look,
what's the deal, Bellular?
If the mission table is maybe an auto battler or some sort of board game that's actually fun, well designed, I'd be totally for that.
I'd love that.
I kind of enjoy like progressing my champions.
I don't think that the mission table's bad. Like, I know a lot of people just reflexively hate it. I actually don't think it's bad. The mission table is completely fine with me. And yeah, obviously it's a little bit, you know, a little bit boring. But other than that, I don't know. I don't think it's like awful or anything like that. It just takes too much time. It's bad. Well, all right. So can you guys at least agree that for the people that enjoy it, as long as it's not something that is required, it's not a bad thing for Blizzard to try to develop and make interesting. It's the same as like pet battles, for example. Like pet battles are, it's content that it's not relevant to like 90% of the player base, but the 10% of the player base that does pet battles maybe enjoys it and has fun whenever Blizzard puts out new content. I think they should look at that. They should look at mission tables the exact same as the as pet battles. They should make sure mission tables don't have any sort of relevance to like gear progression or character power progression, and just make them their own like closed system with like cosmetic rewards or rewards that are central and like mission table centric. I'd be fine with that.
Giving them their gear and working things out, even though that system was pretty bare. And then, of course, BFA just gutted it, and it was a total waste of time. Well, if Blizzard actually embraced what it was, and, you know, instead of making a weird waiting Facebook game, and they actually made a fun game, then that could potentially be a very exciting thing. I mean, come on. Board games, card games, auto battlers, they're all quite fun when they're done well. So why not give it a shot if they are set on doing that?
Have you ever played McCall, have you ever played like one of these fucking like auto battle or chess games like Legends of Runeterra or something?
Fuck no, I don't play those loser games.
Okay, so you have no idea how they work?
I have no clue.
Team Fortress Tactics. Yeah, okay, so I don't know.
It could be good, but I have no clue.
Yeah, me either.
Type of
is it mobile?
Game. You know,
I mean, like, what isn't?
That's true. Yeah. I'm biased against them.
Is it not Team Fortress Tactics? Like, is that what it's not called? What's it called? I don't know what it's called. Team Fight Tactics. Okay. Team Fortress Tactics with a sense.
What'd you call it? Team Fortress?
Yeah, Team Fortress Tactics. It sounded cool, dude. Like
Team
Fight
God.
Tactics.
What an idiot! What an idiot, dude!
Come on, dude. Like I'm keeping track of those old fucking games, dude.
Boomer.
Okay.
Boomer.
And thank God for that. I'm not playing these dumb fucking penguin kissing sword games.
No, just, of course, don't make it feel overly mandatory. Anyway, next, Heritage Armor. They said that that will continue in the smaller 0.5x patches. They also don't plan to bump up WoW's minimum specifications, requirements massively in this expansion. And also, Covenant Mogs, they are unlocked account-wide, but they can only be worn if you're currently in that Covenant, which does make sense. And then also, the Covenants and Orbos,
I'm glad about that.
They're going to be on Alpha soon. And in terms of how they'll sort of function, it'll be like Dalaran and Class Halls, right? So you still will be going to, you know, in this case, Orbos quite a bit. Now, for PvP, they said that there's not going to be a PvP stat in terms of balancing, so it will be using a BFA-like scaling system. And that just means it's scaling, so it's going to be strange, right? It's always been confusing. You've always just thought, what do my numbers actually mean in a real-world scenario? So that's going to stay. That's definitely a bummer, but at least we're getting a PvP event.
It doesn't have to stay. This thing does not have to stay, Blizzard. Here's the problem. Is that Blizzard feels like they have to add this system because the power growth in each patch is the same as the power growth from an expansion 10 years ago. Lower the amount of raid difficulties and everything will be fine. And just let people go in there, and if they have shit gear, they're going to get demolished. And then if they have good gear, they're going to be able to kick ass. That's what the game is supposed to be about. It's not about like going in there. Like if you wanted a fair fight, just go play a game where everybody starts out the same. It's an MMO. It's a fucking MMO. If I get a really cool item, I want to be able to go take it into PvP. If I get my new PvP sword that I've been saving up my points for all season, and I finally get it, I want to be able to go into PvP and two-shot somebody with it. Maybe not two-shot, but like I want to be able to do some serious fucking damage. And if somebody doesn't have the sword, I want an advantage over that person because I did the activity that gave me the advantage. Because that's what MMOs are about. What?
But there you go. There you go. Then Blizzard has to look at it from two perspectives. They have to see it from yours, and they have to see it from the guy that says, "Oh, well, I pay $15 and I want a fair competition here because I don't have that gear and I want things to be equal and fair."
Well, okay. So then what's the problem there? I think the problem is Blizzard siding with and making a system that rewards people that inherently and fundamentally, based off of their argument, don't play their game. If the people are sitting there and they don't have any of the gear from PvP and their gear sucks, it's because they're not playing the game or doing anything. And Blizzard decides to make the game appeal to people who it's not even designed to appeal with to begin with. And those people didn't give a shit about it anyway, which is why they weren't playing it in the first place. And then the people that actually did like it get alienated because there are systems that are designed to make their experience less fun.
Well, you must be wrong because Blizzard disagrees with you and they see all the metrics. Right? I mean, they have special secret Uber 9000 metrics that they measure the game in, and what that shit tells them is that it's better for the game overall to serve the people that don't agree with you. Okay? So I don't know how you're going to convince them to get rid of this shit.
Well, they got rid of Titan Forging, for example. And they kept Titan Forging for quite a while before they got rid of it.
Okay, so they put it in what? In MOP, right?
Well, they put it in the Legion.
Well,
Warforging and Thunder Forging was in Mists of Pandaria.
Right. I mean that's what I'm talking about. Okay, so it took them from MOP to Shadowlands to get rid of it.
Okay.
So and they put in this PvP shit in Legion, right?
Well, they had it also like to an extent in Mists of Pandaria too. Like where like your item level and like health would change whenever you'd enter PvP combat, and like the.
I thought that was just PvP power and resilience.
I'm pretty sure it was a little bit different because I remember in Timeless Isle, do you remember whenever you would attack somebody and then your screen would freeze for a second, and then like all the PvP values would change?
No.
Oh, I don't know. I remember that. And it was thinking on WoD. Yeah, that was WoD. No, this was in Mists of Pandaria. I think it was something separate. But it was in WoD too. Whenever they scaled down, like you couldn't, like your gear was literally scaled down in BGs. I remember that too. Like let's just say that it was in WoD. I don't want to argue too much more.
We'll say it's okay. My point is
10 years ago. Go ahead.
My point is, it took them that long to get rid of Titan Forging and Thunder Forging. So
yeah.
I would say in another 2 expansions, or 3 maybe, if we complain every single day for the next like 6 years, we should be able to get rid of this PvP system and get a new one.
All right. Well, this is day 3. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Yeah, this is day 3. We have to do it. And I mean, if we don't do it, then like what's going to happen? The game's just going to suck and we're going to have to deal with that? Fuck that. I'm going to do my best to make sure that doesn't happen. Like, I don't care. I don't care about that at all. Only 6 years. Yeah, we've only got 700 days left. Wait, that's way longer, right? 2,000 days. Oh my god.
I guess. Now, on that, Ian did say that, like, imagine when you fill a conquest bar, you get a token, and then you could spend that token on a big long list of items. That's kind of what that vibe is going to be. Then also, he noted the faction imbalance problems of the Battle of Nazjatar, but the natural world PvP of the faction assaults, and I'd agree with him there.
He didn't talk about the lag.
For this expansion, they're thinking about doing free-for-all objectives in the world, like with Legion, and also...
Like, if I get an interview, I'm going to ask them, like, that's going to be the first questions I ask them is the lag. Like 100%, like, because it's unplayable. Because it's unplayable.
What's the point? You know why it's lagging, right? Like,
yeah,
it's all the different shit that they have in the game and calculations.
Yeah, but like, what are they gonna say? Are they gonna say that's okay? Like, of course I'm gonna ask that. Like, there's no way. Like, it's unplayable. Like, you literally cannot play the game in BFA PP. Like, if you're like more than 10, 15 people in a battle.
So maybe doing some Covenant versus Covenant stuff, which could be pretty fun, but it is, of course, all early days. And with that said, well, there you go. That's the Warcraft news. There's a lot to get through. I'm kind of surprised we got through it so quick now that I checked the timer on my camera. So yeah, that's what's up there. I think a lot of interesting stuff. Most of it actually very positive, very exciting. I think, you know, we're just getting to that stage where it actually seems like Shadowlands, while it may have its issues, it probably will. Everything will have its issues.
Yeah, at least it's coming out soon.
At least going to be a pretty good step in the right direction from where we are now with BFA. So there's that. If you want to support us and get a slice of what our game dev team's been doing, then you can check out the Patreon where we're doing that print this month. There's, of course, also, you know, the Tiefling tier if you want to get the art and you like that classic fantasy race that, you know, from D&D and such, that Blizzard adapted into the Draenei of World of Warcraft. And then, of course, there is the pins. This one here, this is the Shaman one. So it's kind of like silver and
technology isn't there yet. I don't know about that.
It's the Paladin like pin pre-order this month. So yeah, man, doing these class pins has been so fun. It's very exciting getting like, you know, getting 500 pins in the post and you know, just having like all of these really shiny like premium.
McConnell, did you see the Bellular put me in the special thanks? He put my
Why
name
is that
in there.
surprising?
Well, it's not surprising. It's just, it's nice, you know. I get my name on the screen, man. Like, now I know how it's like all the little Spurky boys trying to get their fucking name. Look at this guy right over here.